It is April 8th. I am Mark Stewart, candidate for governor. I want to use this time to address questions that the audience submitted to a forum that we didn't get to. And head of the forum, Tom, sent all candidates the chance to reply to those questions that weren't answered. These are from a combination of Suffield, Windsor Locks, Windsor, and Bloomfield DTCs. So those of you who came, it was nice to see you. Those of you who didn't meet any of us, well, here's one of us now. I am a liberty-minded Democrat. I hope that some of the values resonate well, because we could have that and in the process be a lot more electable in 2018. All right, the first three. Please provide one concrete thought you have for keeping business in Connecticut. The concrete, clear thought is first 500. It's my policy to get 500 schools operating quickly. This is good business. Whether these are public or private doesn't matter, because I also believe that voucher funding will let money go to the right schools, public, parochial, or private. They'll get better in the process. So, the program from the state's end is a turnaround. It's taking what used to be top-down, pushing on parents to do what superintendents and sometimes administrators in Hartford want, and instead doing bottom-up. Bottom-up meaning funding people who will use the money at the schools of their choice. Eliminating ESC, eliminating political randling, getting rid of Schiff versus O'Neill, which afflicts Hartford kids so badly. Improving teacher salary, improving teacher autonomy, removing administrators who are not helpful, and letting parents choose what's best for their kids without paying any more. First 500 will be a lender of last resort. That's the one state cost. And at good times, it shouldn't cost us anything. But to get some schools built might take some backing that banks are unwilling to do without a very high rate of interest. State could do it at a fairly low rate of interest. State owns the property. If the borrowers fall on bad times of their own making. But in a huge 2008-like depression, we could still run the schools well, let the state take care of some payments still meant to be paid back, but it wouldn't cause closures. All right, second one. What's your position on tax breaks for business? This is related. Tax breaks should be across the board. I think they should be colossal breaks in this way. Reductions in silly regulations are probably more important to business, especially small business, than a slight financial saving. But the position I have, make the financial savings across the board the same. Then you don't have politics being played. This eviscerates the power of lobbyists. You can't have a special lobbying benefit when it's going to be across the board for Connecticut. Again, I would be a lender of last resort to education's first 500, possibly some other. And I'll give you an example where this may come into play. A pipeline to manufacturing businesses. Again, all manufacturing businesses that start in the Connecticut colleges, and let the state provide some facility to be able to get kids who right now are needed for a lot of work that's about to go unfilled, and plants might end up shipping their work overseas or to some southern states because we don't have talent ready to work. We've got talent, but it hasn't been honed well enough. We have, by some people's accounts, 30,000 jobs over the next 5 years in computer science technology, and only about 600 kids will graduate high school with that sort of expertise. That's a disconnect that the state could mend. Last one for now. What's your position on tax structure for the wealthy in this state. I would not tax wealthy people any higher. But hear me out. I would consider taxing dead wealthy people higher. That is, a raised estate tax. I'd consider it. I think it takes a lot of trust that I, as an outside candidate, don't have yet. I absolutely think one of the fairest taxes possible is taxing dead people. Nobody's harmed. A big inheritor doesn't get the $10 million that she was expecting. Boo-hoo. She can get 2 and invest it if she wants to. Inheriting a huge amount of money is not that much of a blessing. For some people, it's a curse. So, the reason why I would not push for it now is that it is politically unpalatable. The death tax right now should probably be lowered or raised. It doesn't raise a whole lot of money, and it does cause people to think twice about staying in the state. Don't die in Connecticut is what tax planners have to tell you, because we are very high in terms of the extraction. For the fairly low amount of revenue it brings in, it probably should be scotched for now, but as we reform the whole tax code, which should include 0 income taxes, reduced corporate taxes, maybe even reduced sales taxes, I think a tax on dead wealthy people is pretty reasonable. Thanks for listening. I'll catch up with you more in the next round.